coming to you from an undisclosed location in Austin, Texas. The one and only Robert Trujillo.
Hey, what's
the
happening?
movie star extraordinaire, I guess I should say. And, well, Kirk Hammett, perhaps you heard of him, and he's here with us now. Kirk, great for sitting down. He's in a band, too.
What's that? Metallica.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him either.
I want to start very basic with our conversation about the movie. What King Kong balls that you guys had to step in and bite off such a big hunk, you know, because it's just, the cinematography is awesome. Like, to watch it, you actually feel like you're on stage.
Because we got to see the 3D version.
I mean, that was the goal. The goal was to bring the viewer to the stage to experience what we experience, you know, to have Hetfield, you know, 3 inches from your face, and also to feel the impact of the sound. I mean, this is really an amazing sounding film, movie. I mean, you know, the surround sound is next level. A lot of it's new territory. There's a system called Atmos, which is just amazing dynamic sound range. Nimrod was inspired by a book called The Alchemist, and it's really a one man's journey through life and in the struggles in life. I like to think of it as, in a way, when you have a concert in an arena like that with Metallica, between the music and the performance and the energy, it's just positive. It's really like this little utopia society. When you go beyond those walls, there's, you know, it's another world out there, and this is anywhere, any city. It happens all the time. There's that evil energy that can exist. It lends itself more to that, but there's definitely a Mad Max twist to all this madness, you know. It's sort of a fresh new thing that's going on here, and I'm sure a lot more bands in the future might have balls to do the same thing.
Jump on board.
You know,
Big King Kong
we'll see if we open the door.
Obviously, one of the biggest bands of all time. You guys have probably been approached to do movies a billion times. What was it that finally got you guys to agree to do something like this?
About 15 years ago, there was, I guess, a meeting with IMAX, and IMAX was making scuba diving films, and nature films, adventure films, and it didn't work out. Technology wasn't in the right place for what Metallica wanted to do. Then in 2003, and it's been more than that actually, but in 2003 when I first joined the band, I remember us having a meeting with NFL Films about doing the same type of thing. But 4 years ago, management felt that it was time to start, you know, working in the direction of a 3D film, IMAX. And they presented us the layout for a stage, a very expensive stage, like the biggest indoor stage ever, and we were impressed. We weren't impressed with the price tag, but we were impressed with the layout. And I mean, we felt that if we're going to do something like this, we needed to have a narrative. We needed to bring a cinematic value to it and do something different, something that could coexist with the music and the performance. And the challenge was actually finding the director, you know, who could take us there, because they would have to write the story and also, you know, direct this thing and kind of do 3 things in one, you know.
Our intention with this film was to make it like a Metallica song, you know, open to any sort of interpretation, and you know, whatever your personal vision is or your life vision is at the time, you know, how does Tripp's story relate to your own life? I mean, you know, there is like a deeper philosophical question that this movie asks, and you know, the whole thing with the bag. I mean, it's we purposely left it open-ended so that people could interject their own sort of opinion into it, you know.
I told Chuck earlier today, I'm not going to ask them what's in the bag. I'm not going to ask them. I know they want me to ask. I'm not going to ask what's in the bag.
Right there.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the movie. You're going to be wondering what's in the bag.
Weeping, shedding strife. Year after
can't imagine the directors that would come to you with some of the storylines, some of the ideas that they had. Were there some really like off the cuff, off the planet stuff that they brought to you?
Well, the majority was sci-fi, which was kind of interesting. As a band, we weren't very excited about doing a sci-fi kind of theme to this. Lars had met with a lot of other directors, and they seemed to be not so interested because there wasn't maybe enough of the right challenge for them in taking something like this on. I guess in the film world, you know, directors like to have control from the beginning. We had already designed the stage. A lot of the songs were already sort of chosen. Directors usually would like to build the stage themselves and design it full on, you know, and so it was kind of a weird situation. Nimrod was fearless. He was the one who was like really inspired by the challenge and the opportunity. And he went away, came back like a month or so later, and he had this great idea with Trip, you know, which Dane DeHaan plays in the film. And of course, anything that you do with Metallica, you know, we're very creative people, so we're going to have a lot of say and input into it. And it wasn't like the smoothest journey. I mean, there was a lot of rough moments, a lot of headbutting along the way, but we're very pleased with, you know, with the final result.
There was a really great collaborative spirit between us and Nimrod, and his story concept had enough openness to it to let other things come in without radically changing the story. And you know, it was really great to be able to work with him because he listened to all our ideas, and boy, we had a lot of them. Every time we'd see a new edit of the film, we'd march into the theater with a pad of paper and pencils and just take notes. And after we finished watching the edit, we would just sit there, and everyone would read their notes, and everyone would take other notes, and especially Nimrod and his producer and editor, and they would disappear for like, you know, X amount of weeks, you know, 4 to 6, 8 weeks or whatever, and appear again with a new cut with all these changes, and then we would discuss that, and that's how we kind of shaped and formed this storyline so that everyone felt that it was what we needed to make. You know, it felt that everything was the way we wanted it to unfold, basically.
What I've learned from being in Metallica is it's all about taking chances. And even with this story, it was like, you know, Nimrod presents us with a 15-page, you know, treatment, and we're reading it, and at the time, it kind of was like, okay, you know, you're trying to make real sense of it all. But then when we actually started filming and getting into the core of this thing, it all started coming to life.
storyline, I mean, it was set to a script that had no dialogue. And so it could have easily have been super like open-ended, you know, in the creative stage. But we kind of figured out that we wanted to give at least, you know, a third of the movie to the narrative. And when we started seeing edits with the narrative worked into the concert footage, we were saying to Nimrod, more narrative. Come on, we want more Dane. We want more storyline. I mean, you know, concert footage, you know, that's great and all, but you know, we want more story. And so we actually pushed Nimrod to go out and film more scenes with Dane. I think managed to get a day of Dane's time, because he was in the midst of making Spider-Man 58 or something, whatever it was. And so I think Nimrod ended up using every single bit of footage that was shot, which from what I hear is unheard of in the film industry.
Was there a lot of footage from the actual show, your live show? I mean, you
Yeah.
did, how many shows was that from, 2 or 3?
We recorded, I think, 5 shows all in all, and there's some songs that we played that didn't make it into the film that'll probably make it into the Blu-ray edition or the 10th anniversary edition or whatever.
Now, that stage setup, was that the first time? I mean, I'm sure you guys rehearsed on it, obviously, but as far as debuting that in front of the public, was that a special thing that they just got to see that one time, or have you used it before?
We have used it before. We did 8 shows down in Mexico City, and those shows were insane. Actually, the upper balcony had a chain link fence all the way around it to keep people from falling off of it. They're getting so nutty and so crazy. We wanted to film in Mexico City because we had filmed a DVD there previously, but the insurance question was just out of control, man. It was just so expensive to get insurance to film in Mexico City that we just had to pass it up. And plus, Canada, they have all these things. They have all these tax incentives. Canada and Vancouver in particular is very, very film friendly.
I just can't imagine the actual logistics of filming these shows. How many cameras? These fans that are there, I mean, they're a part of the movie, but they didn't really sign up to be a part of the movie. Like, how do you control all of that? It's, not only the show and the monstrosity that it is, but all the fans that are there.
There was a vibe, there was a certain spirit in the air when people come in and, they see all the cameras and the big boom crane and all these people scurrying around the stage. I mean, it kind of added to the excitement of the show,
So when your fans go to the show, ultimately, after they see the film, what do you want them to leave with? Like, what do you want them to leave and tell their friends?
A total experience. A total experience that's provocative, yet gratifying at the same time.
You guys have everything to lose. You have a legacy to lose. You have financial interest in this, and you just lay it all out there, and it works.
Well, again, it's just taking chances, and that's what Metallica's always done, even in the arrangements of the songs. people think sometimes Metallica's music's weird. It's like, wow, you got so many parts. But that's the beauty of it. I think sometimes when you scratch your head and you try to understand what's going on in an arrangement of a song, like Death Magnetic, for instance, the songs are fairly long. What would have been a problem, which was actually a blessing, was we had so many parts. We had so many great riffs. What do we do with them? Well, we try to fit them into a song and get the vocal melodies to connect and arrange them the right way. And, the album's held up really well. It's been a great launch pad for what we're about to do, and we're all very proud of that. And, I think it's the best selling album since the Black Album, so that's pretty cool. We're now approaching, well, myself and Lars are approaching 50. The other two guys are already there, so not bad for a bunch of old guys,
Rub it in a little bit,
Yeah,
right?
hang them out there, baby. Hang them out there.
Yeah, it's interesting because my first gig with Metallica was at San Quentin State Penitentiary, and that was a scary moment. It was like we hadn't had a rehearsal on a sort of traditional stage before, and here I am with these guys on what would be a traditional layout, and I'm sort of bumping into James and Kirk, and I didn't realize that they alternate mics, through the show, and again, it's just sort of like, okay, here you go, and seeing all the inmates out there. It was such a surreal experience, but that's how it's been, and we've had a number of challenging moments like that over the last 10 years that I've been in the band. But all in all, that makes us a better band. There's a lot of unity right now. We're having the best times of our lives. Another thing is we all have, families, so we connect on that level too. So all our tours are sort of booked and scheduled around school schedules.
Not like it was 30 years ago.
No.
Life's a little different.
But, we embrace all that, and again, we're having the best time ever, and we really look forward to actually now making a new album, concentrating on new music.
I want to see that stage show next time, though.
You
going to bring that stage with you every time?
We might.
Elements
first things
of it, maybe.
First things first. We got to work on a new record, but the idea is that in the future we will take that stage out live and bring Through the Never to the masses.
5,000 trucks.
Coming to a city near you.
5,000.
Doubling the population of your city.
Trucks.
Got an album out. You guys now have a festival wrapped
right.
around with Orion Music and more. Now a major motion picture. So concert on the moon. I mean, where? I mean,
I like that. I like that idea.
I mean, what else can Metallica do?
We'll have to wait and see.
Right?
Don't give him any ideas, man.
It might be something.
You know what?
What's next?
From
right?
San Quentin State Penitentiary to a concert on the moon sounds good to me.
Can we get someone on the phone to make that happen real quick?
Yeah, let's make some calls.
Big release, worldwide national release is when? Next week, correct?
Yes, September 27th, IMAX, October 4th, in 3D theaters everywhere.
Metallica Through the Never, coming to a theater near you. Go see it. Ask Chuck, he knows. Ask Robert, he knows.
Go see it.
Kurt, thank you so much for
Cheers,
sitting down
man.
with us. Thank you, Robert.